How to sleep like a baby? Hey, it's Vulcan, and today we're gonna talk about two very interesting topics. First, I wanna explore with you a story from 300 years ago about a man of legend who did something to sleep like a baby at night, and how you can take it and apply it yourself to fall asleep as well. And second, I want us to explore what would happen if you reduce your sleep by 1 hour, and specifically, could reducing your sleep by just 1 hour cause you a heart attack? Well, this is what we'll explore. At the end of this episode, I will reveal, can reducing your sleep by just an hour, not a full night of restless sleep, just 1 hour reduction, can that lead to a heart stroke or a heart attack? Well, this is what we'll find out at the end, so make sure you watch till the end of this episode. No skipping. Or if you could, I guess I cannot stop you, but it's gonna be much more pleasurable if you go through the entire episode and find that out. So, let's get started. As we begin today, I want to ask you this question now. Imagine that, what would you choose between good restful sleep and lots of gold? If you could make that choice, lots of money or lots of sleep at night, and you could choose only one, which one would you choose? Well, this is the situation that Robinson Crusoe will put him in today. So, last time we left Robinson Crusoe, we left him on a tree, on an oak tree branch, and he slept that night on the branch. He slept peacefully, restfully, but when he woke up in the morning that night, his entire back was in pain because he was sleeping on a tall round branch. So now now he had a new goal. He wanted to find a bed for him to have a normal, restful sleep at night. Problem is, he's on an island. How is he going to find a bed? Well, he thought to himself, that ship that I just landed on yesterday, well, it's not yet in the ocean. Yeah, it's tipped up, but I can still get some things out of there. Yeah, let me see if I can get something out of there that can help me fall asleep at night here on the island. So that is what he did. Crusoe built himself a raft, which is basically just tying a lot of logs together so that he can transport things from the ship to the island. So he built that himself, and he went back to the ship. And as he went there, he found something very interesting. He found himself two chests, and as he opened the first chest, he saw inside gold coins and rubies and diamonds. He had no idea that those things were there in the ship, but hey, golden chest. That meant that he no longer needed to work if he wanted to. And then he saw another chest next to this one, and he thought to himself, I wonder what's in chest number 2. I wonder what's behind door number 2. Is there even more gold? Is there bags? Is there bricks of cash? What's inside there? He opened it up, and as he did, he got a little bit disappointed. Because at first he only saw saws and screwdrivers and carpenter's tools to work with wood. So he thought to himself, what good is that? But then he realized, holy shit, I can take all these tools, I can take this saw, I can saw up that oak tree that gave me that back pain yesterday, and I could build myself a bed. And as he thought that to himself, he also noticed that there were bed sheets next to that chest. And immediately the idea started coming to him. He could make a bed, he could get those sheets, and he would sleep like a king at night. How wonderful is that? You're on an island alone, but you sleep like a king. That sounds pretty good to me, but there was one small problem. As he thought that, the ship he started feeling a little bit of a shaking under his feet, and he realized the Titanic was sinking. The ship was starting to sink. Now the raft that he had built, it was a very small raft, so he could take only one chest, either the chest with the gold coins or the chest with the carpenter's tools. And with the golden coin chest, by the way, he now remembered all those years that he had worked on his father's and mother's farm as a farm boy. Have you ever worked on a farm, by the way? Have you any idea what it's like to work at a farm? I'm going to tell you what it's like working at a farm. It is hard. You gotta wake up early in the morning, no negotiation there. And I used to help at my grandmother's farm actually back when I was a teenager. In every August, me and my cousins would get together and we would collect potatoes from the wet earth with our hands, and we would collect them in these sacks, in these giant sacks for hours under a scorching 40 degrees sun. We would collect these potatoes. At the end, after a few days of doing that, you get those blisters red on your hand. I can still remember the skin on my hands starting to peel off a little bit because I wasn't used to that kind of work, and that was only after 2 or 3 hours of work on a farm. Crusoe, he worked from sunrise till sundown every single day, and if he chose to take the gold coins now, that would mean he would no longer ever need to work as a farmer. He could retire comfortably and do whatever the hell he wanted. So he would take that gold, or he would take the carpenter's tools. Because if he didn't take the carpenter's tools, that would mean, well, he would have more back pain in his back. And also, what about his health? As I mentioned at the beginning, reducing your sleep by just 1 hour, can that actually cause a heart attack? Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because if that is true, and Crusoe isn't getting a good night's sleep, then that means he's risking getting a heart attack. That's not good at all, right? So, let's talk about, can bad sleep actually cause somebody a heart attack? Well, this is something that a theory that he had. Hey, this researcher wondered, is there a connection? Okay, I shouldn't have reduced this. I believe you should be able to see me better like this. So this researcher, he thought to himself, is there any relation between bad sleep at night and heart attacks? So he did a study. Now most studies, they do it with 1,000 or 2,000 people, maybe that's the normal studies. This man, he went to not 1,000, not 100,000 people, not to 1 million people. He went to 1 billion people. He examined their sleep and he examined the relation between their sleep and their heart attacks. How did he do that, you might ask? He did that in the autumn, when we change our sleep by 1 hour. That's how he did it. So he looked at the last 10 years of, which month is it? September or August, whichever month it is, when we reduce our sleep by 1 hour, going back. He did that. Or going forward, excuse me. So he looked at that. Does that make sense? To put it in perspective again, he wanted to make a connection between bad sleep at night and heart attacks. So he looked, when we reduced our sleep by 1 hour, what happens then? And before I reveal that, let me just do something real quick here. So the researcher thought to himself, well, yeah, maybe there's a little bit of a relation, but not some huge relation. So he did this study, he looked at all the results for the last 10 years, and as he did, he was stunned. at the findings, because he found out that just that 1 hour of bad sleep caused on the following day caused there to be a 28% increase in heart attacks. And this was year after year after year. So, as the Harvard professor Matthew Walker likes to say, the less you sleep, the less you live. That is so very, very true. Now, why is that? Why is bad sleep like? What's the relation? It's just 1 hour. Who cares, right? Well, before I tell you why that's happening and what you can do about it, let's go back to Crusoe real quick. What did Crusoe choose, you might ask? Did he choose the golden chest or the carpenter's chest? Money or good sleep and good health? Crusoe, in that moment when the ship was rumbling and was starting to go down, the Titanic was starting to go down, he took the carpenter's tools. He got them on his raft, he went back to the shore, and he cut that oak tree that gave him bad back pain last night. He cut it down, he made himself a fortress inside a cave. He made himself a bed also, a wooden bed. He put that bed inside the fortress, and with the bad trees that he also took, he made himself a king bed at night, and this night he went to bed and he fell asleep. And then a few hours later he heard a noise in the night and he woke. Now you might ask, what did Crusoe hear? Was it a black panther in the night? Was it some of those cannibals that were hiding in the island? What did he hear? Well, before we talk about that, let's answer the question that I just asked a minute ago. Why? Why is just 1 hour of bad sleep causing such a bad heart attack? That's big. Why? Well, here's why. Think of sleep as the Poseidon of your blood pressure. Poseidon, by the way, you may know him, you may not, he's the king or the god of the ocean. With his golden trident at night and during the day also, he would take that trident, and if he wanted to, he would calm the waters of the ocean. And if he wanted to, he would also strike that trident in the floor and make those ocean waters rise and rage as in a storm. That's what happens with your blood pressure as well. When you sleep, your sleep Poseidon makes those waves calm, and your blood pressure is calm, everything flows smoothly and nicely. But when you don't fall asleep at night, when you have bad sleep, even an hour, that is when your blood pressure rises as the tides of a raging ocean storm. So that's what is causing the bad blood pressure. And you can the bad blood pressure, excuse me, and the 5 French frogs frolic through the fields in France. Now I should be able to speak a little bit more articulately. So that is what is causing this bad sleep and bad heart attack connection there. You can also test this with one of those blood pressure devices yourself if you ever get the inclination to do so yourself. You can see that there would typically be a rise in the blood pressure after a bad sleep or a skipped sleep that night. So that is it there. And this is bad. The question is, what do you do? Because imagine that your mother, let's say, she had a high blood pressure, and hopefully she doesn't, of course, but let's say she does, and let's say after a bad night at sleep one day she got a pain in her chest and she had to go to the hospital, and as you were working one day you got a call from the hospital, from the nurse, saying that, hey, your mother is calling for you, she's had an episode and she wants to see you. You need to come to the hospital because she's just had a bad episode with her heart. it is serious. Insomnia, it does not let anybody off the hook. You don't sleep, it attacks. It doesn't care if you're a good person or you're a bad person. It doesn't care if you work hard and passionately, or if you don't. If you don't sleep, it's gonna attack you. That's why the World Health Organization has proclaimed, has named insomnia a worldwide epidemic. Now, what do we do about it? What can you do about it to protect your own health? Well, I'm a little bit biased, but what I would recommend you do is download my cheat sheet if you haven't downloaded it yet. My sleep cheat sheet, where I talk about how exactly the exercises I do every single day that help me get away from insomnia, and that I'm doing still to this day every single day to help me sleep like a baby every single night. They're not easy, they're hard, and some of them are even painful. But if you're willing to go through a little bit of pain and put some work into it, you can get a better sleep. That is absolutely guaranteed. So you can check that out if you want. Down below, I'll leave a link for you. Now finally, before I give you a quick preview of our next episode, a new schedule we have for our sleep series. Every Monday and Thursday I'm gonna be releasing a How to Sleep Like a Baby episode about a legend or a history maker or an empire builder who slept like a baby at night, and what are the strategies, what are the techniques that they use that you can implement yourself in your sleep as well. And then on Sundays we're gonna have bedtime stories, read or retold by me. I'm not gonna read them, but tell them, to help you fall asleep, put you in that more sleepful, restful state at night. So that's gonna be good as well. Now, coming up next with Robinson Crusoe. So as he's laying on his new bed in the cave, in a cool cave, which is also a nice place to sleep at with that cool air, he's falling asleep, and then he hears a noise in the jungle. It is the noise of a goat. A goat. That is right. And goats, by the way, again, if you've never been, those of you who've been on a farm, you know this, but if you haven't been on a farm, they are loud. They are as loud as a person snoring at night. So imagine it's the 1700s and there's a goat in your neighbor's, or there's a goat that you can hear right outside your door, but you do not have any earplugs, you do not have any headphones because it's the 1700s and because you're on a lonely island. What do? Well, tune in next time to find out what Robinson Crusoe does. I'll see you then.